Welcome to this episode of BigShow Prime. BigShow Prime is an infotainment talk show where it seeks to disseminate valuable information in a simple and entertaining manner. I request all of you to subscribe and share these videos.
We believe that it will benefit a lot of people.
Hinduism is the world's oldest religion with roots and customs dating back to about 5,000 years. The word religion, however, is debatable, which we will be discussing in this episode.
In this episode, we hope to clear a lot of misconceptions among Hindus and other religions too.
Clearing misconceptions or starting a debate, we have to wait and see. It's me, Suresh Menon, with my girlfriend Alexa. Today, with more than 1 billion followers, Hinduism is the third largest religion behind Christianity and Islam. Roughly 95% of the world's Hindus live in India. Hinduism has no specific founder, unlike other religions. Hinduism is unique in that it's not a single religion, but a compilation of many traditions and philosophies.
Hinduism started somewhere between 2500 BC and 2000 BC. BC refers to before Christ or before the birth of Christ.
This means Hinduism started between 2500 to 2000 years before the birth of Jesus Christ.
It is said to have its roots in the Indus Valley, near modern-day Pakistan.
Around 2500 to 1500 BC, the Indo-Aryan people migrated to the Indus Valley. Scientific and modern genetic evidence states that these people came in from Central Asia and Europe. It was noticed that the indigenous people living in the Indus Valley region practiced a set of beliefs that heavily relied on the infinite power of the human mind.
The Indo-Aryan migrants blended with the indigenous people and embraced several local, regional customs and beliefs.
These were subsequently documented and thus was born Hinduism. For this very reason, Hinduism is only a way of life or a family of religions as opposed to a single organized religion. A way of life that has demonstrated infinite abilities and power to absorb the goodness from several sources and bring it to a practice for the goodness and wellness of humanity. However, modern-day Hindu nationalists oppose this theory of Indo-Aryan migration.
But then, they have always opposed anything and everything that they see as a threat to their existence and their distorted beliefs, which they feed the Indian population today.
The organized documentation of the beliefs and practices was said to have been done between 1900 BC to 500 BC.
This is called the Vedic period.
These categorized texts are known as the Vedas. There are 4 texts in the Vedas, and they are the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Samaveda, and the Atharvana Veda.
Composed in Vedic Sanskrit, the texts constitute the oldest layer of Sanskrit literature and the oldest scriptures of Hinduism.
The Vedas are considered revelations seen by ancient sages after intense meditation, and texts have very carefully preserved since ancient times.
Everything else came much later.
Yes, the epic, Puranic and classic periods took place between 500 BC and 500 AD. The Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, the 18 Puranas, Ramayana and the Mahabharata are considered important texts during this period.
Suresh, so, do you mean that the Mahabharata war happened somewhere during the period of Christ?
What makes you ask this question?
You mentioned about the epic and Puranic periods between 500 BC and 500 AD.
Brilliant. But the answer is no. The epic and Puranic period is the period that the Mahabharata and the Ramayana and so many other incidents were documented in the form of scriptures. Till then, the stories and knowledge were handed down verbally through centuries.
I got it. Sorry for the interruption.
500 BC to 500 AD. It is during this period that the Hindus began to emphasize the worship of deities, especially Vishnu, Shiva and Devi.
The concept of dharma was also introduced in new texts.
Hindus believe in the doctrines of samsara, the continuous cycle of life, death, and reincarnation, and karma, the universal law of cause and effect.
I must add that the concept of karma is now being understood by the entire world, irrespective of faiths, beliefs, and religion.
One of the key thoughts of Hinduism is Atman, or the belief in the soul. This philosophy holds that all living creatures have a soul and they are all part of the Supreme Soul.
The goal is to achieve moksha, or salvation, which ends the cycle of rebirths, to become part of the Absolute Soul.
One fundamental principle of the religion is the idea that people's actions and thoughts directly determine their current life and future lives. The thought propagates that the Supreme Being is present in everyone's soul and the subconscious is part of it. All the powers needed for anything exist within oneself, which explains the oft repeated superpowers of the sages in the yesteryears. It is emphasized that the subconscious has the power to convert all thoughts into matter, which today forms the basis of the law of attraction theory practiced worldwide and the understanding of the particle wave theory propagated by Einstein.
Albert Einstein, yes.
In essence, everything in the world is energy, and human beings have the power to manifest anything that they need, as long as one can get into the vibration with genuine and proper emotions.
Suresh, let's talk about what happened after the Indo-Aryan migration.
Sure. The medieval period of Hinduism lasted from about 500 to 1500 AD. In the 7th century, Muslim Arabs began invading areas in India. During parts of the Muslim period, which lasted from about 1200 for around 350 years, Islamic rulers prevented Hindus from worshipping their deities and some temples were destroyed.
Between 1757 and 1947, the British controlled India.
At first, the new rulers, the British, allowed the Hindus to practice their religion without interference. But later, Christian missionaries came in and they sought to convert and westernize the people.
After partition in 1947, Hinduism became the dominant way of life of free India.
However, in the genes of Hinduism lies the principle of accommodativeness, tolerance, and mutual coexistence. In its true spirit, India became one of the few countries in the world where all religions, faiths, beliefs, and languages coexisted in absolute harmony in an atmosphere of trust and love.
And this was guaranteed in the Constitution of India, when India became a republic subsequently.
In recent times, however, Hindu nationalists have been attempting to rewrite history, little knowing that it was their own forefathers who were working with the rulers then, I mean the Muslims and the British, and it is they who were the foot soldiers aiding the conversions and the destruction of Hindu temples.
Rewriting history. Yes, that is shameful. In fact, it stinks of cowardice.
At this point, I wish to re-emphasize that Hinduism is not a religion. It is only a way of life. The term Hindu or any reference to it has never been found in any ancient epic literature, be it religious like the Vedas, mythological like the Purana, the Ramayana or the Mahabharata, and the philosophical like the Bhagavad Gita. They have not been found.
Even the greatest Sanskrit scholar, poet, and dramatist, Kalidasa, has never used the term in any of his writings.
Not at all.
So who coined the term Hindu? There is a debate happening on the World Wide Web on this too.
The term Hindu was coined by Alexander the Great when he referred to the people living on the southern side of the river Sindhu, that is below the Hindu Kush mountains, which is now known as the Indus. The Indian subcontinent was actually known by the name Aryavart.
Can you spell that please?
Aryavart. Aryavart.
Wonder what it means.
As mentioned in the ancient Hindu texts, such as the Dharma Shastras and Sutras. It means the abode of the Aryans. This is a term used for northern parts of the Indian subcontinent.
Wow! Okay, so what happened to the southern parts of India then?
We will reserve that for another discussion, Alexa. However, continuing the topic, during the 17th century British colonial rule in India, people of India came to be known as Hindus and Hinduism as the main religion of India.
Suresh, what do you think of the word Hindutva? Does it mean a modern form of Hinduism?
Alexa, Hinduism is a way of life, while Hindutva is a political ideology which at times smirks of extremism. But let us not talk about that now. Maybe we'll do another episode.
Oh, okay. I am sorry.
So, we hope that we have been able to clear a lot of misconceptions among the viewers on what Hinduism is and what it is all about. I am aware that some points that I mentioned would be bitter to some.
But then, truth is sometimes bitter.
True. But dear viewers, that is what Hinduism is. Please stop talking about it as a religion with a defined framework. There is nothing farther from the truth than that thought.
You can expect a debate on this, I guess.
As a staunch Hindu myself, with exemplary and verified credentials from my birth and upbringing, I request you all to consider Hinduism as a remarkable way of life, as a way of life that is extremely tolerant of all other religions, is all-encompassing, benevolent, propagates love, and of course, all-knowing.
It's me, Alexa, with my boyfriend Suresh Menon, signing off this episode with a promise to get back very soon with another episode.
Please leave your comments below this video. Meet you in the next episode very soon. Thank you very much.